Hey, Wambong World Entertainment. The PS6. Yeah, that's right. We're talking about the PlayStation 6. Now, there's nothing officially being put out there from Sony saying, we're working on the next console. In fact, they're still pretty much struggling to get everyone to buy the PS5. They've just recently released the PlayStation 5 Pro, which costs you, if you want the stand, the disc drive and all that crap to go with it, will cost you upwards of $1,000, which is ridiculous. And it's funny, one of my nephews works in a electrical store, you know, where you can buy computers, washing machines, all that type of stuff, and he was laughing, saying like they were all looking at it and there's no difference. He literally says there is no difference from one to the other, like the Pro to the standard, bar the memory. That's it. That's really the only difference. But apparently there's been a game that was never officially announced, but people knew about it, that has been cancelled, but inadvertently seems to have announced the release date for the PlayStation 6. That's right. Apparently this game getting cancelled inadvertently went, oh, by the way, the thing we're going to tell you is it was meant to release on the PS6, and here was the date the game was meant to come out with the PS6. So let's have a look at this, because this is crazy, and again, we've heard nothing about a PlayStation 6 as of yet. And according to this, it also sounds like they're giving away the next Xbox, because they're not just talking about this game being released for a PS6, they're also talking about it being released for the next version of Xbox. So it says, well, here's a Blade Runner sequel you didn't see coming, and it doesn't even exist. Last week, Insider Gaming broke word that Blade Runner Time to Live, a new narrative-heavy action-adventure game from Supermassive Games, yes, the studio behind Until Dawn and The Quarry, was quietly scrapped before it even got off the ground. Disappointing, sure. Surprising, not exactly. What is surprising, though, is that the cancellation of the sci-fi game might have just tipped the hand on the next generation of gaming consoles. That's right, while Time to Live may be dead, its ghost may have whispered something we've all been desperate to hear. A solid release window for the PlayStation 6 and whatever the next Xbox ends up being called. Let's go with Series Y for now. It just sounds cooler than Series Z. Christ knows what the thing should be. Why didn't they just start with Xbox, Xbox 2? Why did they start calling Xbox One? And it was like, this is like the fourth one. What are you talking about? It's crazy. But anyway, it's saying, here's what happened. According to a report from Insider Gaming, Blade Runner Time to Live entered pre-production in September of 2024 and was shelved sometime before March of this year. The game, budgeted at $45 million, including a juicy $9 million set aside for top-tier mocap and acting talent, was aiming for a September 2027 release. That's a perfectly reasonable window for a single player, 10 to 12 hour percentage adventure. And then comes the kicker. The planned platforms: PC, PS5, Xbox Series X/S, but also Gen 10 Xbox and PlayStation systems. No one throws Gen X around lightly. Studios don't just slap imaginary consoles onto a production document unless they've got at least some confidence in the roadmap. So how would Supermassive know that's what Sony and Microsoft are doing 3 years down the line? One possible answer: because someone told them. Supermassive's parent company, Nordisk, has a long-standing and very cozy relationship with Sony. On its own website, Nordisk proudly refers to itself as the Nordic home of PlayStation, handling everything from sales to marketing to logistics. They've been in the trenches with Sony through 5 console launches, and odds are they've already prepared for number 6. That tracks with recent reports that Sony's collaboration with AMD on the PS6 chip is already deep into development. According to a leaker, the SoC design is complete and the project is nearing its tap-out phase, a key milestone that usually occurs about 2 years before retail release. Translation, 2027 is right on schedule. So, according to all of this and this previous game that has now been scrapped, it was scheduled to arrive on shelves in September of 2027 with not just the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and PC, but also the next Xbox and the PS6. So have we just been told that the PlayStation 6 and whatever Xbox is coming out will be dropping in 2027, right in time for the holidays? That seems to be what they're saying. And if they're saying here that they've already been hearing that the chip, the very thing that slowed down production on the PS5 because they ran out of the bloody things, and during COVID they couldn't manufacture them, are already deep into development. That is massive if that's true. And if this is true, then it would make sense, because it would be kind of the standard time period between consoles, because it would be just under 8 years. Yep, because the PS5 came out in 2020, so the next one dropping this roughly around probably December time or November of 2027, you're 7 years in. So that makes sense, because that's usually the time. If you remember when the PS3 came out, they said the PS3 will come out and there won't be another PlayStation for at least 6 years. And that's exactly what happened. We waited 7 years to get the PS4. And now this would line up with that time frame from the PS5 to the PS6. We'll wait and see what happens. Again, this is just from a cancelled game, so this could mean nothing. But at the same time, it also could line up perfectly. We'll wait and see. We'll see if Sony and Microsoft come out and actually make any announcements. Doubt it, especially now, but by the end of the year, we could be hearing something. So we'll keep our eyes and ears open. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.